everyone, it's seekingjess and I hope you're doing amazing. I am so happy to do this video because I have done tons of research for this. I feel like it took me forever because I am working full-time in the evenings. I will do the research and so it took me a while to gather all of it because it was very important for me to get the right sources, to get the right information. First of all, I want to speak about the downside of the consumption of meat, what happens to the environment with the amount of meat that our society consumes, or I would say animal products, and maybe if there is a benefit of changing our diet to a plant-based diet or a vegan diet, if there are any environmental benefits. And as most of us know, there are benefits. The question sometimes is just what are the benefits, or what is the exact scenario, what is happening around the world that people think that a vegan or plant-based diet can eventually help the environment. First of all, yes, it can. Before I get into all of the facts that I have researched, it's crazy. I mean, honestly, one of the reasons why I became vegan and why I'm still vegan is because I know that it has a crazy impact, but I wanted to look more into it, more into depth. And so I found a few things that are pretty interesting. And I would like to start with the global farmland use. I read a few articles, and there's an article on Guardian, and they have looked at many different research studies. And one of the studies says that without meat and dairy consumption, global farmland use could be reduced by more than 75%. And the 75% equals the size of the US, China, the European Union and Australia. So all of these countries combined. And we could still feed the world. So basically what happened, or what is happening in our society is, as most of us know, the population is growing at a very, very quick pace. The income is increasing, or let's say the gap between rich and poor is increasing, and there is also urbanization. And world food and agriculture has shifted their supply from cereals and grains, how it used to be, to protein-rich based food like animal products. So basically, animal products are the heart of the agriculture today. Of all of the crops that are being grown on the world, 40% is actually of the crops that are grown being fed to animals or livestock. If we wrap everything up that I just said, it says that animal agriculture uses more land resources than any other human activity. There are, of course, many different effects, many different negative effects from everything that is happening. Of course, we're losing land. And the amount of land that we are using, we underestimated. Nature should be our best friend and the animal's best friend, animals that are free living in nature, while we are destroying crazy, huge sizes of forests that are there for us to breathe, for us to live on a healthy planet, and we are just destroying it because our meat consumption is increasing. So we're actually losing also not only the forest, but we are losing the animals that live in the forest, and so many animals have not been discovered yet, and they're all in the wildlife that we are destroying for our consumption. And the second point is water use. And it's something that is very affecting me a lot because when I was younger, I had the privilege, because of my parents, to travel to poor countries. We can say they're poor countries like Kenya and Sri Lanka. When I was very, very young, I have seen poverty with my own eyes. What I've also seen is that a lot of people do not even have access to normal drinking water. And every day, millions of people, children and women, have to walk many, many kilometers to get to source of water. It's dangerous, it's super hard, and they have to carry it all the way back home to have something to drink. So in this case, the water usage in the world is unequally distributed because of animal farming. By the end of 2015, over 663 million people, which is 87% living in sub-Saharan Africa and Asia, were still without access to great sources of drinking water. And on the other hand, agriculture is the largest consumer of the Earth's available fresh water. In order to see, there is like 3 different types of waters. You can divide them into blue water, green water, and gray water. So blue water is basically surface water and groundwater. Green water is rainwater. Gray water is fresh water, which is like required to dilute any waste or anything like that. So basically 70% of blue water in the world are currently used for agriculture, and this is 3 times more than 50 years ago. And by 2050, water demand for agriculture might increase by another 19%. Basically, you know, there's many different ways of looking at water usage per product, and the worst thing about the animal products is that animals need to be fed, right? They need to eat. So actually the most water that is being used is for the grains, which later the animal is eating. In industrialized countries, if people would be moving more towards a vegetarian diet, the water usage could decrease by 36%. So I have a chart here that I will show you guys, which shows exactly which product uses what amount of water, and I feel like it's scary to look at those kind of numbers. I will also link it down below, so all of the sources that I have the info from, I will have all the links down below so you can just go back and read through it as well. So to another point, undernourishment. So basically this defines the population that lives beneath the minimum dietary energy requirement. So the number in 2007 was 827 million people, which is a lot of people that do not get enough food. And so when we look at, I would like to call it loss of calories, there have been a lot of new analysis done, and it says that meat and dairy only provide 18% of calories and 37% of protein, though it still uses 83% of farmland and produces 60% of agriculture's greenhouse gas emissions, which means that the calories that are being lost by feeding animals, they could be used directly as human food. We could, theoretically speaking, feed another extra 3.5 billion people. So this is for me also something that is very close to my heart, as again, I just can't imagine being one of those people, and so many children die daily because of undernourishment and not having enough food. And we feed animals because we think that we need to eat animals with grains and soybeans, which could be directly, you know, used in order to feed the children. And that is something that really, really hurts just thinking about it. I think this is one of the things that I really try to change. I know why I'm vegan. And this is, I think, yeah, considering the environmental aspect and then looking into the depth of it, this is something that I'm like, whoa, you know. And I think this goes beyond the environmental aspect. I spoke about it in the beginning, you know, but this is like far more, it's a human aspect. And you know, just coming back to the water usage as well, because I did not mention it, water is scarce and we are using up so much water. And again, there's so many countries and so many people that don't have water access while we use up so much of it. And it just makes no sense to me. And when we continue doing, like, the more we continue doing what we are doing right now, destroying forests and using all the water and feeding animals just for us, for our pleasure to eat them, instead of feeding people that are in need of food, we are like, look at it, we are destroying the world basically. And I know I don't want this video to be negative, but this is just reality and it's all out there. It's just most people, you know, close up their eyes and try to not think about it and just live for themselves because they think, whatever, you know, I'm only here on this planet for these amount of years and I will not care about sustainability or anything else than myself. And I know this was again very maybe phrased in an ignorant way, but I spoke to a lot of people, and this is kind of the response that I got sometimes, and it just, for me, it's very not understandable. That's why I'm doing the video, to, you know, open up maybe people's minds a little bit and try to understand. And I'm not saying, you know, change your habits completely, but very small actions can already do a lot. And one thing that I still also want to mention in this video is ocean pollution. And a lot of people are getting more and more aware of it, that plastic is very bad for the environment. A lot of the plastic ends up in the oceans, polluting our oceans. Animals eat the plastic because they confuse them with food and they end up dying. The problem is just getting worse and worse and worse. But the more research I have done, I found out that actually 46% of the trash in the ocean is coming from fishnet, is coming from industry gear like ropes and in oyster spaces it's called, and baskets in order to collect fish, so the fish that we demand on the market to eat them. So here again, and I would like to wrap it up with a conclusion and maybe a solution of how we could try to reduce the overall problem that is happening on the world, is by stop eating fish. When you don't demand fish, people will not have to fish the fish, right? And also we are fishing at such a fast pace that we will have more plastic in the ocean than fish. That is not really a great thing, right? We still want the ocean to be full of amazing, beautiful fish and dolphins and sea turtles and all of the amazing, you know, animals that are in the water. That's one solution, stop eating fish, because a lot of people think that fish is maybe not as bad as meat, but it's still pretty bad, still destroying our planet. So also according to science, so there is this thing, the quote that I would like to read out. Scientists also found that even the very lowest impact meat and dairy products still cause much more environmental harm than the least sustainable vegetable and cereal growing. Actually, avoiding consumption of animal products completely delivers better environmental benefits than to purchase, for example, sustainable meat and dairy. Because I hear it a lot. It's like, oh yeah, but I buy the bio or the organic meat, or but I buy the organic milk or organic eggs, free-range eggs. Still bad. First of all, animals are still dying. The environment is still being destroyed. All of that stuff is still happening. If you still do not believe or still don't know about animal cruelty, there are a lot of documentaries out there that I will put in the links down below in case you really don't know about it. It's okay, but have a look at it, you know, and you will see that animals suffer. It doesn't matter if it's free range or if it's normal range. Animals still die at the end of the day. I would like to end this video with saying that I know I said a lot of things here, and I know in the beginning of the video I wanted to introduce it saying like, I'm not sure, maybe, you know, veganism is a little bit far-fetched and maybe it's not actually helping the environment as much as we think. Maybe, you know, maybe if you're the only person thinking, oh, I'm not gonna change because me only turning vegan is not going to help the environment. You know, we are so many people on this planet. If we're only 2% of the people on the planet saying exactly this, and we change our mind and we do adapt a plant-based diet or a vegan diet, we can make so much more impact on this world than we can imagine. Ending it with another quote that I also have from The Guardian. It's also based on science. It says that a vegan diet is the single biggest way to reduce our impact on planet Earth, including the greenhouse gases, global acidification, land use and water use. Plus, no harm to animals, no harm to people. In my opinion, there's nothing more to be said. And again, and there's still so much more information out there that most people don't know, because of course meat and dairy and animal products are in demand because that's what media tells us is healthy and good and all of that. But that's a complete different topic, otherwise I'm gonna get off, you know, the actual main message here. I know that some people might disagree with what I said, and it's all in your right. It's completely okay, and I accept every opinion that is out there. Again, this video is not, you know, to make you vegan now, please, because otherwise you're a bad person. This is not the purpose of the video, but the purpose of the video is just to, you know, share some insights about what is actually happening on the world, and maybe think about our everyday actions that we take, and maybe try to do a little bit of small changes here and there and see, you know, how we can make the world a better place and love each other and live with each other and not, you know, destroy each other basically. So that was it for my video. Please let me know if you liked it, if it was useful. If you think it was, please let me know again in the comments. And if you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, that would make me super happy, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye.